Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so sorry it took a while to upload a new video. I've moved into my new place, so sorry if it's a little bit echoey. So today we're going to be doing a Q&A about respiratory school and the respiratory job field. Thank you so much to everybody who left a comment on my other videos or liked the video. It means so much to me, and I wasn't even expecting anybody to watch it, to be completely honest. But I have a bunch of really great questions here. Some I probably wouldn't have been able to think about myself, so I'm excited to jump right into it. I have my notes in my laptop, so here we go. The first question is, did you work while in respiratory school? When I first started college, I always had a job. Sometimes I had two jobs because I gotta pay the bills. And that would lead me to not doing my assignments on time, flaking on some of my assignments, and everything in between. Once I got accepted into the respiratory program, I knew that I was going to have to really absorb and understand all the information I was learning and really apply myself so that I could succeed in my career when I graduated. So with that, I decided not to get a job and make school my full-time job. I took out the loans, which I was really scared to do, and took it seriously as my full-time job. I was a full-time student, and that's what I recommend because I know some people who did have to work, and sometimes you have to sacrifice school for work. I completely understand that, but if you're able to, take out the loans and really apply yourself. The second question is, how frequently did you study in school? So when I was going to respiratory school, the first half of the school was pre-pandemic, and then the second half was during the pandemic. So pre-pandemic, I would go to class every day, and when I came home, I would knock out all of my homework assignments, and with that, I would study. So if I didn't understand a concept, I would really take my time, study through it, and that's pretty much what I did every single day. And I would always make sure to leave myself 1 or 2 days, depending on how I feel, to not study at all. Because taking a day to yourself is not a bad thing. Taking a break from studying is not a bad thing, because if you study every single day, even if it's just a little bit here and there, you will eventually get burnout from that. Make sure you take your breaks. During the pandemic, middle of lockdown, it was very, very, very hard for me because I get distracted by everything. I get distracted by my cat. I get distracted by the TV and my phone and just other people moving about the house. I came across this study method called Pomodoro, and it's how to work with time and not against time. I figured out what works best for me is studying for 25 minutes straight without any distractions, without my phone, without the TV, and then taking a 5-minute break where I could just do whatever I wanted. And as soon as the alarm would hit after the 5 minutes, I would go right back to studying. And this helped focus my attention so much, and I really figured out that I got a lot done. So I need a lot of structure. And the days where you don't have homework, make sure you study for at least like an hour or so. But honestly, whatever works for you, just do not study every single day, because that's just really bad for you. All right, the next question is, what was my hardest class? And I have 3. My first hardest class was PFTs. And this is because I had my PFT class. It was one of my first classes in my very first semester. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not even know what a PFT was until like the last 2 weeks of that class, because I was new and we're learning about like the anatomy of like the lungs and everything. And the fact that they put a PFT class like right when you don't even understand like the anatomy of the lungs is just ridiculous to me. So yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. However, that is really important. You need to know that for your TMC, because you will be asked about it like, I don't even know, like 10, 15 times, okay? My second hardest class was mechanical ventilation, which is probably gonna be most people's hardest class. So I started my mechanical ventilation class right when lockdown happened. So it was completely online. Mechanical ventilation, you want to know that because that is our bread and butter of our career, okay? The nurses know a little bit about it. The doctors know a little bit about it. Us, we're the professionals on it, and everybody's gonna be asking you questions about the ventilator, okay? So mechanical ventilation was very, very hard. Commit all of your time to it. Really, like, make that class your baby. Stay after school, ask a bunch of questions, really understand it, and don't just sweep it under the rug because you have to know that. My last hardest class, because I understand PFTs now, I understand mechanical ventilation now. What I don't understand, which I am working on it still as a new grad, neonates and pediatrics. Yeah, let's talk about that. That's a lot to unpackage, okay? Because neonates are different than pediatrics, and pediatrics are completely different than adults. That one still puzzles me. And I thought I was gonna be the respiratory therapist working in the NICU, working in the PICU. That was my thing. I had a hospital I wanted to work at. And once I got into it, and then definitely once I did the clinical, it's not for me. Peds is very hard. Next question is, what are the schooling requirements? And the prereqs are pretty much the same across the board for all healthcare programs. Once you get accepted into a respiratory program, it's generally 2 years. Once you complete that, you have to take 2 board exams. So the first board exam is the TMC. Once you complete the TMC, you get the CRT credential, which is a certified respiratory therapist. After which, you need to take the CSE. And once you take the CSE and pass that, you become an RRT, registered respiratory therapist, which is pretty much the standard for any hospital you want to apply to. A lot of people are not going to take CRTs anymore. That's been phased out, and they want RRTs. Our job field is moving towards a bachelor's degree program, and that is going to become the new standard of care within the next couple years. The state I just moved from passed a bill requiring a bachelor's degree to be the standard of care regardless. So in that state, if you're an RRT, you get grandfathered in with your hospital. But if you want to quit and go to a new job, they are going to require you to have the bachelor's degree. And that could be a bachelor's degree in anything healthcare related. I'm pretty sure, like a bachelor's in healthcare administration, or a lot of those schools are switching to a bachelor's degree in respiratory therapy. The reason for that is if you look at nursing, nurses could actually go to school for 2 years and get an associate's degree, but now their standard of care is the BSN program. So they want you to have a bachelor's degree in nursing. The level of care is going up, and pretty much you get more respect in the industry and you get paid more. It's going to be more competitive. People once thought that respiratory therapy was maybe going to die out or phase out, but once the pandemic hit, the need for this career has skyrocketed. We're short all the time, and we're gonna be dealing with a pandemic like this of like literally the coronavirus. We need respiratory therapists who know what they're doing when it comes to ventilators and therapies. So the demand has gone up, and with that, the standards have gone up as well. So if you're in respiratory school for a 2-year degree, really think about getting a 4-year degree. You don't need it right now, but you should work on it. I love this question. Does my salary now make my degree worth it? Absolutely 100% yes, it does. 100% it is worth it, because since our job is in so high of a demand right now, I got a really, really big bonus from my hospital. So I got a pay increase and I got a bonus. My bonus covered 100% of my loans that I took out for respiratory school. I can start traveling soon once I have experience, which traveler's salary is out of this world right now. I'm always gonna have a job. I'm always gonna have a job with benefits. Yes, it's worth it. I recommend it to anyone. I went to school for 2 years and got an associate's degree, and I am making just $1 short of what a new grad nurse is making right now with a bachelor's degree. I'm very happy with it. So that kind of leads into the next question. Do you ever plan on becoming a traveler? To become a traveler, if you're a new grad, you have to have, I think, at least 2 years experience. You have to have experience in the ICU. So when you're going to a new place, you don't look dumb. Like, you don't look like you don't know what you're doing. You're not helpful, because you travel to help other hospitals who desperately need people. So you want to know what you're doing, and you want to be comfortable with, you know, being put in every type of situation. So you definitely want experience, and I'm not planning on traveling until I have experience that I'm comfortable with, if that makes sense. If you stay at a hospital and you really put in all your years at that hospital, you're gonna get seniority, you're gonna know doctors, you're gonna get respect. So there's a lot of pros and cons to traveling. Hello, so I'm going through and editing this video right now, and it's getting pretty long, so I think I'm gonna make it a 2-part video. Stay tuned for the second part coming right after I post. Also, please like this video, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys.